I've just had some new information come in about the actual woman who was in the courtroom that created the disturbance and shouted, which resulted in Harry getting taken out. And I have information about the woman, who she might be, and I believe that this is proof that it was all prearranged. And there is also video to refer to. So I do have the receipts on this, and it's big news. So watch this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and ding the bell for alerts so that you'll get this next one that I'll be putting out very soon. Hopefully within the next 24 hours I'll put this next one out. Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about Prince Harry and his court drama, and also digging deep and connecting it to the relative incidents in the past which show the reason why I believe this was a setup. So, on April the 9th, 2025, Harry was dramatically escorted out of London's High Court by bodyguards after a supporter shouted, and I quote, "I support you, Prince Harry," end quote. This was during a hearing about his UK security. The media went absolutely wild, calling it a chaotic moment. But here's the question that I've got. Was this a real threat, or a perfectly timed stunt to prove he needs protection? Stay with me with this, because we're going to go deep looking at this incident, what people are saying on X, and a pattern of Harry and Meghan exaggerating and amplifying threats that goes all the way back to 2016. I've got receipts and I'm laying out my theory. This is Harry pulling the same old trick to get what he wants: security, sympathy, and maybe even a paycheck. So let's look into this. So hear what went down. On April the 9th, Harry's in London's High Court, fighting to get his old level of UK security back, the kind that he had before he and Meghan stepped away from royal duties in 2020. He's arguing that he's still a target, even though he's not a working royal anymore. Mid-hearing, a woman in the gallery yells, "I support you, Prince Harry," and starts ranting about the press. Then the bodyguards, led by his long-time guy, David Langdown, swooping in, whisking him out, and it apparently was like a scene from a movie. The woman gets kicked out, and Harry comes back later, and the hearing goes on behind closed doors. Very convenient. The Mirror and the Daily Mail were all over it, headlines screaming about the drama, and it does sound really intense, doesn't it? But this is where it gets interesting. This happens right as he's trying to convince the court that he's at risk without taxpayer-funded security. Coincidence? I don't think so. So let's see what people are saying online. Reactions on X. One user, Vox Montessori, posted, "I will put money on Harry set this up." And then they followed with, "One of his own supporters, I wonder how much she was paid to do this." The second post got over 2,300 views at the point of recording this, and 262 favourites. So people are totally buying into this theory. And then there's Rio Montessa asking, was this woman encouraged or paid for this stunt to fake a security risk? And if yes, by whom? And this same person also added, "Okay, these must be the bodyguards he says he doesn't have," pointing out the irony of Harry claiming he's unprotected while surrounded by muscle. So, the general consensus online is scepticism. People are not swallowing this as a random outburst. They think it's a setup to make Harry look vulnerable, right when he needs the court to see it. And to be honest, I'm totally with them. I agree with this. It was the first thing that came to my mind as soon as I saw those headlines. I thought, oh yeah, perfect timing. What a coincidence. Not. But to prove this isn't a one-off, let's rewind to some other security scares Harry and Meghan have played up. So now we're going back to Toronto in 2016, and I do have a video I made several years back about this in depth, and I'll include a link either in the description or at the end of this video. Meghan's dating Harry, living in Canada, and the paparazzi are sniffing around. In their Netflix docuseries, she claims she was stalked. 6 guys sleeping in cars outside her house, and she says she begged Toronto police for help, telling them, if this was any other woman, you'd call it stalking. But the cops, they totally ignored her, she says, because she was with Harry. Sounds absolutely terrifying, until you hear the other side. And again, I did this in depth about this, and I'll include the video link. Toronto Police Chief James Raymer came out in 2022 and shut it down. He said they had officers on her street, undercover cars watching, and they even talked to the photographers. There was no threat, and no threat was ignored. Columnist Joe Warmington backed him up, saying there's pictures of cops there. So what's the truth? Meghan's story doesn't match the police logs. To me, this smells like her first big move to exaggerate a threat, get Harry to pull strings, and make the palace step in, just like his mother, Princess Diana, who was hounded by the press. Harry even pushed for a public statement back then, saying Meghan needed protection. Sounds familiar? It's the same playbook, that's why. And Harry didn't even spot it before he even got serious with Meghan. That's what's so concerning. He didn't even realise what was going on with her. So now we go fast forward to Montecito in California after they ditched royal life in 2020. They've reported all kinds of security breaches, drones buzzing 20 feet over their house in 22, trespassers tripping alarms. Newsweek covered the drone stuff, and Hello magazine reported an intruder getting arrested outside their gates in 2023. I wonder how much they were paid. So were they real incidents? Maybe some of them were, but this is my take. I think they milk these for all they're worth. Every police call gets spun into this narrative of them being under siege, which is perfect for their Netflix deals, isn't it? Poor us, we're targets. I covered this in a past video, those also regarding the Montecito drones. Those Montecito reports always hit the news at convenient times, like when they're pushing for more security funding or hyping their next project. It's not that nothing's happening, it's how they frame it to keep the sympathy flowing. And they're becoming experts at that. Probably the only thing that they're becoming experts at, except that most of us don't see through it. And then there's a New York car chase in May 23. Harry and Meghan call it a near-catastrophic 2-hour chase by paparazzi after an event. Their spokesperson even hinted at Diana's crash, saying it could have been fatal. Oh my gosh, could it? Except the paparazzi, like Backgrid, laughed it off. They told the New York Times and Sky News there were no near collisions, no chaos, just them following at a distance. NYPD said it was reckless but not catastrophic. Another video I did, I broke this down. Harry and Meghan's version didn't match the footage or the witnesses, and I did have a first-hand account, or rather second-hand, via a police officer who was there, and his mother reported what he'd said about there being no car chase whatsoever. So that's in my video concerning this. So again, I'll include the link. It's another case of them blowing up a story to sound like Diana too, tugging at the heartstrings while pushing their "we need protection" line. So it does follow a pattern. So let's tie all of this together. This court incident, I'm calling it staged. That supporter shouting at the perfect moment, bodyguards rushing in, it's too cinematic and way too convenient. Harry's fighting for UK security, and this makes him look like a sitting duck. It is absolutely laughable. This is not his first rodeo. Toronto and Meghan's made-up stuff even got the palace to act, and even though cops say it was handled. And Montecito? Drones and trespassers keep their victim card active, and as far as New York, a chase that wasn't becomes a headline to cry danger. This is Harry channeling his mother Diana's media nightmare, but with a twist. He's not just scared, he's strategic. He wants the UK to pay for his security again, and if that fails, he's got private funding to justify. Plus, every threat feeds their Netflix empire. More drama, more dollars. Some incidents might be real, like that Montecito arrest, but the way they spin it is pure manipulation. Ex-users see it, I see it, and you should too, if you haven't already. So, what do we think about all of this? Is Harry a mastermind staging these moments? Or am I reaching? I've laid out the court drama, the ex-chatter, and years of shady security stories. Toronto, Montecito, New York, all pointing to a man who knows how to play the game. Maybe he's got real fears, but the timing and the exaggeration is too much to ignore. So, let me have your comments. Tell me what you think. Did he hire that court supporter? Is this all for the cameras? Check my old videos on Meghan's Toronto lies and the Montecito fakes, also the New York one, for more on this. And so, if you haven't already, subscribe, because I'm going to be digging deeper into some of these subjects in my next videos. So, if you haven't already, subscribe. Check that you're still subscribed, if you think you are. Ding the bell for more alerts and click like if you liked it. So hopefully you did. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.